Happy Saturday, March 31st, 2018. We have some Final Four games on tonight. Rock Chalk, of course. And a couple things. I'm going to make Stash or Pass its own series, give it its own videos. I'm having trouble cramming everything to the title of the podcast and figuring out how to make thumbnails. It just kind of all gets muddled and confusing. Plus, I'm not sure anybody wants to listen to me ramble for 10 minutes, so... just going to go kind of short and sweet now, pick an easy topic, talk about it for a few minutes, call it a day. First of all, I'm bowling a tournament tomorrow, Sunday, April 1st, and my buddy Nick Campfield is streaming it on his channel. The name of the channel is Streaming Bowling. I'll have it linked in the description down below. We'll have a lot of great bowlers there, and not just some good local guys. There'll be some Wichita State alums. Kevin Williams will be there, who was on a PBA show a couple weeks back, so the quality of the competition will be very high. I will be on the live stream for at least a game or two at some point also, so I'd appreciate it if you'd support Nick as well. He has taken it upon himself to spend a lot of time and money getting all this stuff set up to stream local bowling tournaments, whether they be sweepers or even some collegiate tournaments. Whatever he can get to and cover, he's going to do. So it won't take you 10 seconds. Follow the link, click subscribe. He's also live streaming the doubles tournament today. There's a doubles tournament today and there's a singles tournament tomorrow. So by the time, Saturday and Sunday, depending on when you watch this, but by the time this goes up, he should be live, and there's a similar amount of talent there today, bowling doubles tournament, so it should be very fun to watch. I know I'll be checking it out myself. So again, Streaming Bowling, link is in the description. Subscribe, help him out, and just watch some legit great bowling. Today's topic is a little bit of a fig jam. I shot 825 in league Thursday night with my code 0. Unfortunately, I also don't have any body armor here to go with the episode because I drank it all because it's tasty. I said just last week in the podcast I thought I was finally getting my mechanics worked out, and after bowling the couple squads at doubles tournament last Sunday, which went pretty good too, by the way, and league Thursday, I think I've got some things squared away, at least as good as it's ever been, which is still just fine with me. So I struck 32 times. I left a 7-pin and 3 10-pins. Strike spare next 9, 10-pin on the fill ball, game 1. Front 9, 10-pin spare, game 2. Then front 10, or front 8, 10-pin whiff sheet. 10-pin whiff hurt a little bit, and we'll talk about that, but... my normal deal with 800s is I either kind of barely scrape them out, or I get them locked up 7th or 8th frame and then just kind of coast to the finish line. I got up in the 9th frame with 858 still out there, and instead of settling, I was just going to go for the whole thing. I wasn't going to say, okay, well, I've got 800 now, so just play it safe and get a decent number, whatever else. I wanted, I mean, struck all but 3 shots up to that point, so... I was just going to go for everything. I was going to keep the hammer down, just get done. I threw a good shot. I wrapped a 10-pin, and that's what actually did it. I thought, oh, well, you know, no more 858, 800 still 800, and then promptly flagged it before I realized I still had a 279 triplicate thing going, because I had 279, and then all I had to do was spare that, and I struck out in the 10th that game, so I'd have had a triplicate 279, and that would have been really cool. But it's, you know, disappointing, of course, but it's not, that's because it's not something that anybody does with any kind of regularity. But 825 is actually exactly the number that I've been thinking about for a while, which is odd, but I'll explain. The explanation is also odd, so... my previous traditional high is 823. I say traditional because I've had 830s and 840s before, but they're the last 3 games of a 4-game set or the middle few of a singles and doubles set at a tournament. But just for what they consider a traditional set, which is games 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6, what they count. My high sanctioned traditional set was 823. Now I've got a little bit of OCD, if you can't tell, and 825 is just a nice round number. Now, so is anything over 850, which would have been nice, but on the 823, I got a 7 count on the fill ball. Instead of trying to strike, I was trying to at least get 9 for 825, and I short-armed at 823 in a decade of not really having, it's been a decade now, I think, since it happened, and not really having a legitimate shot to go any higher. So this time, after I lost the 850, I did the math, of course, and I was determined to get them all in the 10th for 825 on the nose, and I actually got it done. I've got the last couple shots on Facebook if you want to check out my Facebook page and look at the last couple shots I threw. Now, 800 isn't one of those things that you do. It's something that just happens to you. I mean, everything happens to work out. You're throwing it good, ball's reacting good, shot holds up well, pins are falling. So it takes a lot of things going right for it to happen, no matter how well you're throwing the ball. And you know, great bowlers might go over 700 with regularity, but 800 is a different deal because it's so easy to get tapped a few times, make a couple bad shots, and just lose the chance. It was legitimately the best set that I've ever thrown. I didn't have a single shot that wasn't going to hit the pocket right off my hand. It doesn't mean every shot was perfect. It means that I was playing the lanes extremely well, keeping it in the right spot, and at least being consistent with the things that matter, which is really just getting it off your hand clean on the proper trajectory. Now, the odd thing about the Code Zero here is that I hadn't really matched up with it well. It's got a strong core, it's got the weakish cover, so throwing my usual shot, I had some angle issues. It's just a little lazy on the back end. The same thing with the Code Black. So I either had to really slow roll it or play really straight with it. And I've been trying to be easier with the ball anyway, so I moved a little bit right, kept it tighter to the pocket, kind of a shim to win type deal. Didn't play as much lane as I normally do, and I just kind of floated out of it. I kept it simple all night, I got rewarded, and the point really, instead of talking about myself, is that it's hard sometimes watching guys that throw pins everywhere. It goes back to that lost art of getting the pins down no matter how it looks. You don't have to have big back end balls. You don't have to throw it 18 miles an hour at 550 revs. You just need to know how to keep the ball in play and get the pins down. My last 800 a couple of years ago kind of came in the same way with kind of the same ball, the Crux Pearl, playing straighter and being soft with it. My last 300s have come that way, but I have this, or at least being softer with it off my hand. I think the last one I had with my Daredevil Danger in Tulsa, I was pretty deep, but the lanes were pretty chewed up, and I was just floating out of it and letting the ball do the work instead of trying to get grabby with it. Now, what happens normally is I'll do that, I'll leave a flat 10, I'll get Marshall Kent syndrome. But Thursday night it worked out, and hopefully I can finally just get my head to relax and accept that I don't twist it up anymore. I used to really just hammer on it, but I think as I'm maturing both physically and mentally, getting the pin, I'm going to turn into one of these old guys that I always talk about here in 15 or 20 years that doesn't do anything special to the ball, but I put X's up on the board and somebody else is going to watch me going, well, what's this old guy with this little funky wrist thing doing, just whooping the crap out of me? I throw it better, I throw it harder, I put more revs on it. And, he's shooting 250s and taking all my money. Well, that's what happened to me when I came out of youth leagues, is all these 50-year-old guys are just whooping the living crap out of me. And I'm like, well, he flips it, or he doesn't put anything on it, or he splashes pins around. It's just ugly, but they shoot 230, 240, 250 every freaking game. And I couldn't figure it out. Now I've figured it out. But that's kind of the point of this video here, It's okay to have a 325 rev rate at 17 miles per hour. Getting the pins down is what bowling is about. I mean, I know, right? Well, that's the show for this week. I have another episode of Stash or Pass also, and then in 2 weeks I'll have the report card for the Drive and the Sonic. They came out February 9th, so I'm going to be a little bit late on it, but next weekend I'll probably have another Tech Talk episode and a mailbag. My beer frame buddy Anthony is bowling the regional in Oklahoma, so I'm covering the shop for him, so probably seeing everybody in 2 weeks on the podcast anyway. I'll still have some other stuff up. But that's podcast for now. Remember, streaming bowling. Go follow the link, subscribe, support Nick, and watch some great bowling. So thanks for watching.